Hi, Jen. How's it going?
Hi, everybody. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're surviving COVID style. Still,
Woohoo! That's all there is right now.
we have our masks ready to go for school, and we're just going to try our best to attend, I think, is my family
Yes.
core
Yep.
place.
We did the big school shop today as well, and yeah, we're pretty well set. But
So
yeah, again,
you're
just
sending yours to school? Yeah.
yeah. So he's in SK, and we're gonna play it by ear. But we're gonna try for sure and see.
That's kind of where we went. It was easier to pull them out and do online learning if things didn't feel right than it was to put them in.
Plug them back in.
Yeah, so for all of the kids, we're just kind of going with you're going to try, and then if it becomes too stressful for anybody, for me, for them,
Yep.
if we start seeing a trend, then we'll reconsider. But definitely
sure.
easier to pull them out and put them online than it is
Yep.
to put them in.
For sure. I agree. Totally. And for us, like Felix is an SK, so it's different if your kids are older, possibly. But I could teach him from home, but I think that normalcy, and that's what he's craving and we're all craving. So we're going to give it a go and
Well,
see what
honestly, we love our kids, but we need a break too. And that's the big thing is,
and they do too.
Yeah.
Right? They need a break from us. So
yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so today we're going to talk about core beliefs. So why don't you go ahead with your definition of what core beliefs looks like? I know you've done it on a few other videos, so let's just do a quick recap and then we can go from there.
Sure. So core beliefs are the beliefs that we hold within us that sometimes they show up before we're born, if you believe in past lives, but it's something that fosters through childhood and kind of shapes our lens for the way we experience life. So if, for example, I, over the course of my childhood, decide or learn that or believe that the world is not safe. Mm-hmm. So if that's my core belief, then the way that I experience the world is going to be very different than if I believe the world is safe.
Yeah.
And I see that in my two kids. I have one kid who is very, very cautious, very concerned about the rules and very serious. And my other kid, he will stand at the top of a 7-foot rail and just, it's no big deal. I'm not afraid to fall, right? So just, whereas my older one would never do that. So it's the same with us. There's certain things we would do or would not do just based on that belief system that we have in place.
On experiences throughout our childhood, essentially, right? Like that would shape us. So for instance, for me, I'm terrified of water, but it's because as a kid, I nearly drowned 3 times. So I didn't learn the first or the second time. It took 3, but.
And so that's an awesome example, Jen. That's exactly what those big trauma things that can happen, they often are the starter of that belief system. Not always. Sometimes I came into this lifetime with a fear of abandonment. I've never been abandoned, but it's still, that showed up. So it can come in with us, but a lot of times it is something that we do gain based on a very and often terrible experience.
Yeah, because so, like I've put it through to my kids too. Like they don't do water as much, but only because how can I take them swimming if I know my fear is going to then project onto them. So it's just been, we do so many other sports and we're getting better at swimming, but I am a mess when we go in the water because I fear that, like, that's huge for me.
Right. And so those things that could come up that include water, you naturally, if you do it, it's a conscious choice. It's not just, yeah, sure, let's do it. It's a very like, okay, I got to prep myself for this. We're going to do this. We're going to get prepared.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have a negative core belief, how do you then reset or recalibrate, or can you?
So yes, absolutely you can. The biggest piece of that is knowing what they are.
Okay.
So if you don't know what your core beliefs are, you can't change them, right? So there's a couple ways of doing that. Sitting in contemplation. I've done a meditation that you can pop onto. It helps to calm and then bring up whatever shows up. But the biggest thing, yeah, is paying attention and whatever is showing up. And it's not in your head. So I can say, I am not afraid of men. Men aren't scary. But when it comes right down to it, and I'm walking down an alleyway and there's a man behind me, am I scared?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So we can say and we can believe things on the surface, but what we're talking about is those core beliefs of things that, I didn't really think that I don't want to be afraid of men. I would say in general, I'm not afraid of men, but in that certain situation, what's bubbling up?
Okay.
Right. So
How do you fix
it's very much paying attention. So the way to fix it, I guess, or to change it is the shift in it. So to notice it and then decide what you want it to be.
Okay.
So let's say, so I'll start from the beginning. The biggest thing is, yes, noticing what they are, but then finding out, are those core beliefs in alignment with what I want my life to be? So if you can look at your life and say, yes, I'm living the life I want to lead, then probably your core beliefs are in alignment with the life you're living. If what you want to be living and what you are living are different, your core beliefs probably are ready to be shifted. So if I want to live in a big house with 5 fancy cars and a nanny for my kids, is what I believe to be true in alignment with that.
Right.
So if I believe that people who, I don't believe this, but let's say I do, people who have nannies are stuck up.
Right.
And people who have shiny cars, they aren't contributing to the world.
Okay.
So if I believe that, but I want it, my core beliefs aren't in alignment with that.
Right.
Whereas if I believe that the universe has abundance for all of us, I'm going to tap into that. I'm not selfish. I'm not stuck up. If those are the things that I truly want in this lifetime, then I can set goals to make that happen, right? So very different, just based on the belief. So if your beliefs align with what you want, you're much more able to manifest. Whereas if you want something, but your beliefs don't match up with it, then it makes it harder to attain that.
Okay. So then it would be acknowledging that the core belief isn't in alignment with what you're wanting. And then would it be kind of like almost like a cognitive behavior therapy where you're just kind of reaffirming? So, for instance, I don't know why, but I have a hard time asking for help. I want the help, but I can't ask for it. So I have to consciously change that thinking. And I do typically try really hard to then, even though it's against like that core, ask for it anyways and realize that it's okay. So if I keep doing that, will it eventually change that core that it's okay to ask for help? Okay.
Yes, you have to start proving to yourself the opposite of that belief. So is your core belief, when you say asking for help is hard for you, is it because your core belief is, there's 2 things that are kind of showing up. Is it because asking for help means you're weak? Or is it because I am the pillar of strength in my family? If I crumble, they will crumble.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's more the, if I ask for help, I would be weak because I can't do it. But then there's a third variation that the fear of being let down, that somebody would say, no, I'm not helping you anyways. So it's kind of, that's when I was doing the test on yours. I was like, I don't none of them really set with me, but that's who I am as a person. I'm a very malleable. It does shift for me quite quickly. I know which ones are the ones that need to be fixed, and I do make a conscious effort of it, but it's still there. I just can't seem to get it to completely go away. And it's
And it's not,
maybe that's what I'm supposed to be, is open-minded enough to acknowledge, rise above it, and then therefore be able to learn from it and still have it there.
for sure. And so when you ask for help now, because it has to be a conscious, like, okay, this does not mean I'm weak. This does not mean, yeah, right? So over the course of time, you are proving to yourself, oh, I am finding evidence that shows this old one is garbage, and this new belief, it's a lot closer to accurate, and is bringing you closer to your goals.
Yeah. It's a hard one, right? Like, I think a lot of people struggle with that one specifically, is asking for help, because there are so many different variables to it. It could be that you fear being let down. It could be that you fear being seen as weak, or like, there's just so many different variables for that. But I do notice that's a huge one for a lot of people, is the asking for help. And I think the more we continue to ask for help, the easier it will be for other people to then realize, because it's kind of, if you see it, you believe it too, right?
Exactly. Yep, absolutely. That modeling is huge.
Like
Another
kids, right? Like asking your kids for their help. They're seeing that it's okay to ask for help.
For sure. Yeah. Another one that I see come up so often, especially with women, is I am worthy of joy.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Because we're constantly trying to keep it together for everybody else and do, that when we step back and go, well, what do I want? We often don't even know.
Yeah. Well, and then tenfold into that one would be that you have to do, right? That we're
and that core belief that as
a busy
woman, as a mom.
Yeah. Well, think about it. That's something that has been for the ages, right? There's a saying about a clean house, clean heart. And clean house, clean heart. And there's another one to do with a religious aspect, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's basically as a woman, if we keep the house in order 100%, then Jesus loves us. I'm paraphrasing really bad, but
whoa,
yeah, that's right. And that's then
but that's what we internalize.
Yeah, like, so you think about June Cleaver and stuff like that. They were always busy, they were always cleaning, they were always doing that, and there's a guilt associated with that now, because we're realizing that we need more. Like, we need more than just to take care of our homes, but that's in our core belief that a woman is supposed to do.
Even if I work full-time and my husband works full-time, it still lands on me. And even if you share the chores 50-50, it's not embedded in men the way that it is in women, that guilt piece of like, oh my gosh, we're behind, we gotta, right? So we take time away from our children or time away from outside or whatever, so that we can organize and clean and clear and all of that. Absolutely, I see that too. I get that. That is something that I struggle with, for sure.
So it's something that we consciously have to, I think, uplift other women to say, you know what, no, like, the big thing too is self-care is selfish. And I always say, like, self-care can literally be locking yourself in your bathroom
for sure
for 5 minutes and eating a whole package of licorice if that's what you want. And people get it, because I said, like, that's taking time for you. It's not hair, it's not nails, it's not makeup. It can be,
but it's not just I agree.
It's having a bath and locking the door and cranking the music so that you don't actually hear the screams of murderous children in his right. And
it's whatever brings you back down and grounds you.
And that would then go back to that core belief of, I'm not worthy of joy. I'm not worthy of taking a time out so that I can be clear-headed, and then therefore, right? So core beliefs are really tricky.
They are tricky. They're tricky to identify.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting around going like, what is it?
Yeah.
So meditation, and even like what we're doing here is having a conversation, because we can start pulling out like, oh, because when you were talking about those 3 or 4 things on my Facebook post about worthiness, or are people good, or kind of answering those, and you said, well, I'm just open-minded.
Yeah.
That's a core belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You believe that you're open-minded, and that's why you're able to, oh, is it this? Is it that? You're a little more malleable, a little more flexible, right? Whereas if somebody has a more fixed and rigid system, belief system, right? It's this or it's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's safe or it's
right?
unsafe. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, could be.
But that's a core belief that you're open-minded.
It's a great core belief to have during COVID. I can tell you that, because it's stressful even for everybody. And somebody said you have to pick a side. They actually said that to me. You have to pick a side, red pill. And I
right,
said,
that's not fixed and rigid.
yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna wait it out and see who takes the red pills and who takes the blue pills, and figure it out from there. Like, I'm just gonna sit over here in Switzerland and watch you guys all fight it out and yell at each other and carry on, because there's no winning.
And so with COVID, there have been core beliefs are coming to the surface like crazy, right? Do you believe the world is a safe place? That changes now.
Yep.
Some people who maybe thought it was have flipped.
Yep.
And other people who maybe weren't so sure are kind of like, it's no biggie. Yep. Right? So we are seeing core beliefs bubbling up. And you're right, people do want, I need to know where you stand.
Yeah.
Because that's a core belief of like, I feel safe when I know your beliefs, right? Another core. So there's lots of things, even just like health-wise. I believe that, I'm generally a healthy person, but now there's this pandemic. So, right, it changes the way things are bubbling up for people.
Yeah. So basically, if you're wanting to change your core beliefs, because we'll wrap this up shortly, if you're wanting to change the core belief, then it's first figuring out exactly what that core belief is through meditation, through conversation, through any sort of outlet that you have. It can be writing, it can be
could be yoga, could be when you're having a shower. Sometimes my best stuff comes up when I'm in water, right? Just like
driving.
Yeah. So, and just paying attention, right? Going, oh, right. And as you're talking, like, okay, just based on what I'm hearing myself say, I can tell that this is a belief.
Okay. And how many core beliefs can you have? Like multiple, like.
We have a million. Every single decision we make is based on our belief about ourselves, people around us, the world. But there's really large ones that are easier to pinpoint, right? And you can go black and white, or there's sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 different things, right? There is no set number of core beliefs. No.
Okay. And then not to be afraid of the negative ones, right? Like that would be
those are the ones we want.
The negative ones will be the ones that teach you, I think, more.
Yes, those are the ones we want to bring up. Right? Those are the ones that we want to shift.
You just completely cut out.
Hey, girl.
There we go.
Lost you there.
That's okay. So we were just talking about negative beliefs. So we want the negative beliefs to come up so that they can be shifted.
Those are the ones that we're going to have a million billion positive ones as well, right? But it's the negative ones that we want to see so that we can shift them, because the positive ones, they're already doing good things for us. We don't need to change those. but it's those negative ones and going, oh, I don't like the way that this is impacting my life.
Okay. All right. Well, so on Ashley's page, there was, I don't know what date you posted it, but it was just a 3-question, if you felt the world was safe and unsafe, and I can't remember what other ones there were on it.
I can find it and leave it in the comments. But yeah, there's kind of like a 3 or 4 black or white. People are safe, people are unsafe, or people generally let me down, people generally don't let me down. Just
Right.
going through and going, whatever pops up, right? Instead of going to the one we want, but going, oh yeah, it is this one, but whew, I don't like that it's this one.
Right.
I don't like that I believe that people generally let me down. I want to believe that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's kind of that process.
Okay. So Ashley will put it in the comments, and then hopefully you get your brains moving forward and start to figure out where your core beliefs are, which ones you want to fix, which ones you want to shift, which ones you love about you. I'm sure we both would love to hear some of the amazing parts of your core belief and how you got to it. If maybe you started with a negative core belief and you were able to change it and shift it to then be a positive, and how your life has been positively affected from that change of acknowledgement. So,
Yeah.
And then, yeah, same goes. Ashley's got all of her information on her Facebook page and her website, soulpurposereiki.com.
You got it, girl.
And you can catch my blog. If you click on any of the links of the blogs, it will go into my blog that's online. And I guess that's it.
Perfect. Excellent.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us. And thanks for the chat, Jen. I always love digging into some of these really big topics with you. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.